Andrew. I'm here with Steve Rizzo, and this is episode 325. And I just want to say thank you for joining us, and let's jump right into it. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and to prove to people you can step out to something. Labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You should prove to them you can step out to something. So that being said, half hour every time, and we may go a little longer than that, but we'll see how it goes. But starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Toronto, or just north of, and I'm the youngest of three sons. Didn't really have much formal education previously in what I'm doing now in my pursuits. Fell into it a couple of years ago. Grew up like a pretty normal suburb kid, I think, anyways. Yeah, so obviously I'm of Italian descent, but again, I was born here. Pretty regular, uneventful childhood, I think, for the most part. I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart at one point. We were together for half my natural life. Recently divorced. Now I'm just kind of doing me and pursuing my goals, I guess, my dreams, and so far everything's working out pretty good. I think I'm at a pretty good pace. I'm happy with my life, and yeah, pretty easygoing guy for the most part.
No, absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you some easy questions, then I'm going to take a break, then I'm going to ask you some hard-hitting ones. When you were in college, were you a study nerd or party animal? And what were some of your favorite majors that you ever wanted to pursue? Or what was your major in that you wanted to pursue?
Okay, so mostly in college, I studied actually video game development or entertainment software development and design. So that program there, it was back in 2006 when I graduated. It was kind of the only program around. It was intensive, condensed. It's like a 4-year program condensed into 18 months. We studied everything from the ground up, from the programming, the math, to the art, to the sound design, absolutely everything. But before that, I didn't have too much direction. I thought, even going back to secondary school, that I wanted to actually be an English major, and I loved English classes. I took all the English classes that were available to me at my high school in Woodbridge. Not saying much. So I thought I wanted to pursue something English related, whether it was writing or publishing or something along those lines. And then you get out of high school and you just go to work and you just try to get by, I guess. And then at one point I realized, okay, I need to do something that I can actually enjoy. If I got another like 40 plus years of work before I retire, I kind of decided a long time ago that I couldn't possibly do that just with a 9-to-5 sort of thing that I wasn't happy doing. So I'd gone to school again for video game development design. Had a few titles under my belt. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of just sitting at a desk and really grinding away. From there, I worked at an audio design studio. I actually got really heavily into the audio design end of things. Worked with a studio in Toronto. They're no longer here, actually. The proprietor is currently in Rome, scoring films. So from there, I kind of I really got a good sense of, again, the audio side of things. And when I decided I couldn't do that anymore, just because, like, again, it was a lot of long hours and I didn't find it that fulfilling anymore. Went back to the workforce, just a regular work-a-day job. I mean, nothing fantastic. And then I sort of one day decided, okay, again, this isn't working for me. I need to find something else I can pursue that, I can actually be happy with. Money never motivated me. I mean, I'm in the arts. So that's when I decided to pursue voiceover. And I found some early success doing voiceover. I worked with companies, studios across the globe, really. The Russian video game company I've worked with, a German video game company. I am a voice of some sort of lottery game in Taiwan. So I managed in a year or two of doing starting off the voiceover, to build sort of a network with studios where when they need me, they kind of just shout out to me, "Hey Steve, are you free? Can you do this?" Most of it's recorded at my studio at home, not always, but a lot of it is. But as I was doing it more and more, I realized, what, like, the guys who are really booking the solid work, the guys who are like really doing it at the level I would like to one day compete at, are all these classically trained theater artists, for the most part. So I said to myself, okay, you're probably in no place to go to theater school. I'm like, what can I do to just sort of like get out there, something that'll help me, with the voiceover stuff, maybe do some networking. So I stumbled across classes at Second City, which is fantastic. I recommend it, like, for anyone, even if you're not pursuing improv or comedy or any acting thing, just as like a life skill, just to learn. There's a lot of good came out of that. I actually learned a lot about stagecraft, a lot about auditioning, and from there I said, what the heck with it. I learned about the auditioning process for film and television. I went out to my first audition, which is probably still out there, was for the Children's Aid Society, and they booked me. It was my first audition, and they booked me. I was to play a staffer at the Children's Aid Society, and my beard was a little longer. I had a piercing in there, and I'm like, "You guys you're sure you want me to play a Children's Aid Society staffer?" They're like, "Yeah, no problems. Like, we'll throw a lanyard on you, you'll be fine." I'm like, "Okay, sure." So I did it, and from there, I never really looked back. I just kept auditioning, and even with the film and television, I found a lot of early success, and even now I average, at least two jobs a month, which is not bad for someone with no practical training, really. Aside from just recently, now I was accepted, and I've finished the first leg of the program at Armstrong Acting Studio in Toronto, which is, again, I recommend them. They're very good there. They really they test you. They push you to really be what I think makes a good actor. I mean, a lot of it is internal, but there's a lot of technical stuff that they show you there, and just it's a good experience. And I'll be enrolling in the next semester class when I get the chance. So yeah, that's pretty much the journey that's brought me from here. So I think I answered your question about what I studied. Oh, and what kind of a student I was. I was actually, despite popular belief, I was actually a very studious type. I made time to party. I mean, but I always got my work done. I never missed a day. Honestly, I don't think, even in the 18 months of college, that if I missed a day, it was dire. And I was also preparing to get married the final year. When we were working on our final project, it was due but within the same couple of weeks where I was getting married. So it was a pretty stressful time. And even then, I don't think I missed a day. And I always handed everything in. I was even there on Saturdays when I needed a little extra help with the physics stuff. There was some university level math that was required to get through that program, which I did. So no, yeah. I found time for hacky sack and the odd beer here and there, but I was actually rather studious.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I do want to point out is I do like the Kurt Angle look that you're going for.
Sorry?
Oh, are you a professional wrestling fan?
I am not a professional wrestling fan by any stretch, no. Why?
Because I was just admiring your Kurt Angle face you're going for.
Kurt, I don't even know what that is, but okay. If it's admirable in your eyes, then it works for me, no problem.
Well, while on the subject, you're not into the whole wrestling thing, or is it not your forte?
It's not my forte, no. I mean, growing up, I was as much of a fan as anyone was. I'm born in 1981, so I grew up with the Hulk Hogan's and the Macho Man's and the Ultimate Warriors. I mean, of course, but no, I kind of fell out of it, and pre-adolescence, I would say. I mean, I have a lot of respect for those guys. It's a performance art. And they are athletes, and they are putting their necks out there. But yeah, no, it's not something I follow intensely or just like, yeah. I'm sure I've never actually been to one of their live events, but I'm sure it's quite a spectacle.
Well, we should definitely hang out and go one day.
That sounds good.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is who influenced you to get into the whole audio-visual department and the whole editing and everything? Was there someone who influenced you, or did you decide one day this is what you want to do for the rest of your life?
I don't know about a direct influence, but if I had to pinpoint, it was probably my late uncle, who's also the best man at my wedding. He was always a videophile. Like, he's like, as far back as like technology stretches in contemporary times, like he was always on the ball with that stuff. Like when Laserdisc came out, or like the first like camcorders. He's got a certificate from Sears as a pioneer in VCRs. Like he owned like one of the first VCRs in Canada. And he was always a big influence to me. He taught me how to build my first computer, which I've been doing for over 2 decades. I built my first computer. He built my very first one for me. But from there, I just got so interested in it and I'm going back like when I was like maybe 14 years old here. Early to mid 90s, he's my go-to guy, and if I knew like I could just about mess up anything in my computer, and I could call him and get an answer. And yeah, he was huge on the video stuff and video games. He got me into like PC gaming in a way that like I don't know. It was just great. I mean, I still remember playing dial-up games, Duke Nukem 3D with my uncle like at late hours. On a school night kind of thing, and the parents would hear the modem going off, like, what the hell's that guy doing? So definitely an influence for me in that respect. And then when I got to doing the video game development, because it was a very comprehensive program, they also taught us video editing, because you would have to use it, and even if it's just making a bumper for a game or demo reel, what have you, and I just fell in love with the video editing. And I do that pretty extensively these days as well in a freelance capacity. There's a feature film which just by happenstance I had a supporting role in, and their first editor got terribly busy. It was already done, the film. It had its premiere and everything, but they're looking to review.
Yeah, that's right. Not sure where we left off now, or where do you want me to take it from, but.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to pass the show over
Personal
to you.
video message for yourself or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shout-outs, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message, especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link, so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, You can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from, and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre. Buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities, and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
I'm so bored.
Want to see something really cool?
Yeah!
Now you'll never be bored again with Loot Crate, a totally bodacious mystery box packed with awesome toys, radical games, and other surprises. And the best part is, you can get Loot Crate delivered right to your door. So don't delay. Ask your parents and order today.
Everything okay in there? Yeah, everything great. I love Loot Crate.
Batteries not included.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 325. My name is Keith Andrew. I'm here with Steve, my good friend Steve, and I just want to say thank you for sticking with us. Now, as I said before the commercial break, I'm going to pass the show over to you. So it's the last 18 minutes left of the show, which is your time. Is there anything you wanted to promote, anything you wanted to talk about, ask me? This is your time, after all.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. First of all, again, thanks for having me. And I understand it must be a pretty tough process for you to choose who you're going to honor with an interview. There's a lot of people on the internet, so to be one of those people is actually well, it's an honor, right? So again, thank you for this opportunity to speak with you, Keith. If I had to, I mean, I didn't prepare any questions, but I feel like I'm just curious about. I understand why you're doing this, and I think that's admirable. It's great. There's so much content on the internet that is just really, in my opinion, I mean, we can almost do without. I mean, just because you can make something, it doesn't mean you should. This, on the other hand, I think it's great what you're doing here. But really, like, how do you select somebody? I mean, you've probably been asked this question 100 times, but like, I wouldn't even know where to start. There's so many people out there, right?
Well, it's pretty much, you're supporting a good cause, you're making a new friend out of it. But after interviewing 325 people, thanks to you, when I first started, I wanted to just talk to actors. I'm like, okay, well, what else can I do? Then from actors, I went to voiceovers, and after voiceover people, I wanted to interview school teachers, and after school teachers, I wanted to interview CEOs because I wanted people to take me more seriously. It's like, why not interview some powerful CEOs? So I went to companies, and I said I would like to have you on the show. This is what the show is about. So actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, dancers, people with disabilities, people without disabilities. So I pretty much, well, I like trying to find the words for it. A lot of people never really gave me an opportunity. Maybe one or two people gave me an opportunity. But if I have to die, I would like to be remembered as someone who gave someone an opportunity. Like those 325 people. They didn't approach, okay, maybe one or two approached me, but I approached them. They don't know me for a hole in a wall. So, when I first approached you, you're like, who's this? Who moved a rock? So basically, you didn't know me. But I would like to know I made a difference in your life at some point by saying, it may not be something gradually, something huge, but I'm thankful for an opportunity. So I just like giving people opportunities. I just wanted, basically extend my hand in friendship and saying, here's an opportunity. You can either take it or you can waive it. And a lot of people threw it back, and so I said, I would be on your show if you pay me for your time, or if you have a couple thousand people following you. And I'm like, then you're missing the point of my show.
Absolutely.
And it's really hard. It's really hard to be grateful, find people who are grateful just like you. But then you find, the assholes are like, oh, well, I was on your show, and like I said, uncensored, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. And then you find the assholes saying, well, I was on your show, and I thought I would get something out of it. It would make me look like a better human being, or it would benefit my career. It bothers me, but you are supposed to be 425. And to make a long story short, I know a lot of people heard this. When I first did my talk show, I didn't have a permission form. So I was taking people at their word. Like, do you mind if you do the interview? Yes, sure. And it's like, well, if there's ever a time where you want me to edit it, or if you say something like, I don't know, this comedian made a dirty joke, and instead of telling me, can you edit it out, she said, either take it down or I'm going to sue you. And I'm like, okay, well, what the hell was your problem? And then someone else told me, said, can you keep my video on private? Can you keep it on private? And the next thing you know, I had 10 videos on private. And I'm like, why can't I use it? Oh, well, we didn't want to hurt your feelings, but my agent said you're degrading. We don't want to be associated with people like you. And I'm like, then why did we do the interview in the first place? Yeah, wow. I thought it was go ahead. Now you were going to say something. I didn't want to interrupt.
Well, I was saying, sorry, I was just commenting that's a shame. That's all.
No, absolutely. And it's like, then the responses would be like, oh, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think you were taking it seriously. And I'm like, so I took everything down. At that time, people were saying me need to be copyrighted, trademarked, blah, 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 blah. And so I came to a lawyer, and he said, one, you do not have to be copyrighted because you're online based. You already have an online presence. Two, you do not have to be trademarked because it's $2,000, and you're not making money, so there's no reason to piss away $2,000. However, yes. He did send me my biggest mistake was not having something in writing. So that's why, for an example, I come up with the form, my name, concept of the show. Do I have your permission for interview you? Now, I don't have people weaseling their way out of it saying, oh, well, he said, she said, whatever. But it's more upfront. And like I said, pretty much it's just a learning experience. You're going to get some good, hard-working people who are going to be appreciated, and you're going to find assholes who are going to take advantage of you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the world we live in.
Unfortunately. But with that being said, a couple questions I'm going to ask you is, do you think you're ever going to work in the entertainment world as in broadcasting? And have you ever came across anyone who tried to take advantage of you?
I missed the first part. Do I ever think what?
The first question is, do you think you would ever branch out into the world of broadcasting?
It's definitely not my focus or ambition. I am preferring right now to just focus more on the dramatic arts, so film and television. To do broadcast, it would for me personally, it would have to be something that I was really passionate about, I guess. And off the top of my head, there's not much out there that I think like I can that I would want to speak about like every day or X number of days a week about, or that I have any sort of authority on, or and also a part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because the monotony of doing the same thing every day kind of always got to me at my other, workaday jobs growing up. I like what I'm doing right now in the arts because of the variety. I mean, for example, right now on television, there's 2 series which I'm on, and one I'm playing different roles through Canada's history, doing all kinds of stunts, rolling around and on the street and water stunts. And then in another show that's on right now, I am a paranormal investigator. So I mean, I get to like do all those different things, play make believe every day, and I like the variety. So to what I feel to pigeonhole myself into broadcast, I mean, if there's a great opportunity there, it's something like I would entertain. I'd never say never, but it's not an end goal for me, no. But I never say never, right? Like I just said. So yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't see it happening, but I would look into an opportunity if it presents itself, but I wouldn't go and pursue it actively. This is the short of it. And have I ever been taken advantage of? Well, there was times where sometimes you book a job, and when you're starting, there's jobs where the conditions aren't great, or the hours are really long, and the pay is below minimal. And then again, it's not about the money. It's not about like I said earlier, I'm not motivated by the money, but there was one really huge network that it was the second job I think I ever did, and I was in their multi-million-dollar studio for 16 hours, and the pay, I got to tell you, is like it's probably one of the lowest aside from like I think a student film I did. That's the lowest I've ever been paid, and like they didn't treat us horribly. We didn't get treated like even real actors, I felt like, but and even then, like I didn't look at it as taking advantage, because I got a lot out of that too. So I guess I'm just enough of an optimist to not really, I guess it's 2 things. I'm enough of an optimist, and I'm fortunate enough that I don't think I've actually ever been completely taken advantage of, in not in this line of work, no. Maybe in some of my other jobs growing up, I've been maybe taken advantage of, but no, here I think like it's a reality, especially with non-union work, that pay is not great. And I mean, to me, I'm just stretching. I'm reaching here to try to give you, I think, an answer, because at the time, like it was a long day and it was tiring, but I got a lot of great footage out of it. I did appear on television, thanks to that show. Was my first appearance on television. So when I look back at it, I still don't feel like I was taken advantage of. But again, that's the closest thing I think I can come up with on the spot as far as an answer for you. And I think that a lot of people would relate to that as being taken advantage of, because again, it was 16 hours on set for very minimal pay. So, but I mean, I was grateful anyway. So.
No, I agree. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, what TV shows have you been a part of? I know you mentioned the paranormal one, but what TV shows are you going, or have you pursued? Did you want to work for CNN? Did you want to work for NBC? Police dramas.
I think I understand the question. No, I'm not really like very particular on a network or a series. I'm happy to just work doing film and television. So yeah, as far as a particular network or show, I mean, yeah, love to be on Game of Thrones if that matters. And I haven't even watched anything from the last 2 seasons again, but I had read all the books already. But I mean, like, it's a great looking production. Like anything with great production value like that and great writing. Anything Aaron Sorkin writes, I think I would love to be a part of. what else is there? I mean, I'm not actually huge into the superhero genre as it is right now, but I think those are great looking productions. Yeah, you know, drama. One thing where I'm almost hesitant to do is comedy, because that is super hard. I mean, and I tell this to people all the time. It's one thing to, you know, you and I are, you know, just shooting the shit. I can have a conversation. I can make you laugh. I can be witty. But doing comedy is not the same as that. It's very difficult stuff. And I learned that, well, it's not that I learned it, but I definitely experienced it the hard way back at the acting studio, where one of the first scenes I was given with a partner was a comedy. It was for a pilot show that had never seen the light of day. It was very well written, but I don't think I nailed it. And then conversely to that, when the second scene study we got was a more dramatic thing, where, you know, the character was very vulnerable. That I got much better reviews from the instructor, from the class, from everyone. It was something more real and visceral. I think that it was just more grounding for me. Whereas the comedy is, the basics of it, I mean, aren't that complicated. But to actually pull it off consistently is very difficult. They'll tell you like two things. It's like just be honest. You know, play the truth of it. Don't try to play the funny, and the timing. Those two things. I mean, if you can master those, you're doing well. And I mean, I went through the whole improv program at Second City, but and I did a main stage performance, but to do that regular on a TV show, I feel like it's a lot of pressure. So yeah, that's one thing that, like, I would still take the opportunity, and I would study my ass off and really try to make it work. Not something I'm actively pursuing again, comedy. And not on any particular network. No, I think that was there a second part to that question I kind of rambled on.
No, it's all of it. Now, while wrapping up our talk show, are you on social media? I know you're on social media, but for your fans, you know, are you on social media? Facebook, Twitter, Stage 32? Yeah,
so I'm primarily on Facebook as Steve Rizzo. I'm the one that looks like me. And on Instagram, actor.steverizzo. That's, Rizzo with two Z's. Those are the two I use primarily. I am on Twitter as actor Steve Rizzo, but it's just when we upload YouTube videos for our Six City channel, it just mirrors what's being uploaded on YouTube. I don't actively tweet. But yeah, that's about it. And that's that. And again, that's the other thing we're working on, which was talking about earlier, Six City, and that's sick as in like the Latin term, meaning thus was it written, SIC City, or Six City News. If you Google that, you'll find our YouTube channel. We're putting out content right now, my friend and I. Just getting our feet wet. We got a new 4K camera. We're super stoked to be working with. We are, depending on some phone calls we make tomorrow, we may actually be heading to Manhattan this week to sort of chase a story that we started working on here in Toronto, and it's leading us to Manhattan. And we'll have updates on that when, as soon as we can, really. So we should know something this week. It's sort of a time-sensitive thing, so there's a bit of a fire under our ass to get it done. And yeah, we're super stoked about that. It's Sick City News, and so stay tuned for that. And that's also on Instagram at sick.city. I usually mirror a lot of those posts on my personal Instagram too. We cover everything. We've covered. We do like a lot of event reporting, but now we're starting to do some investigative stuff. So we've done like Comic-Con this year. We've done the Visual Arts Mississauga had their opening reception for their members showcase and sale. So we did a little fine art piece. We've done women's hockey, roller derby. We cover any events that we sort of feel like are speak to us or that people would want to hear about that maybe aren't getting as much attention as they should. And we end up meeting a lot of interesting people and learning things that, you know, that we end up finding interesting that we wouldn't have otherwise gone to learn or even thought about. I mean, the culture around Canadian Women's Hockey League, for example, those are some women putting their blood, sweat, and tears into every game. And, you know, attendance is low, the pay is low, and these are Olympic athletes, you know, and it kind of like almost like broke our heart to see these women, like how much these women were putting into it. And thank God they love what they do, because yeah, like they should be rewarded a lot more handsomely for their efforts. We thought, right? So that was a report we did earlier this year, the state of women's hockey. And it's, I don't know, like some people find these topics important, some people don't. But you know what? That's for the viewer to decide. The content's out there. Stephen and I are putting it out there. We love doing it, and I mean, we're just it's just a passion for us, right? So yeah, we're happy to keep pursuing it, and you know, wherever it goes. But we've been dabbling and doing like dramatic stuff with it. There was a short that I had written and directed. That I put together, I edited it, and I originally had envisioned it one way, and I'd written it one way, and I kind of equated the final product to, you know, ordering your eggs sunny side up and getting them scrambled. Still delicious and edible in the end, but not exactly what we ordered. So it's sort of like became like a, you know what, it's out there if you're interested. It's on our 6 City channel. It's called The Milkman. It's a 2-minute short. It more plays out like a sizzle reel, like a proof of concept for something a little bit longer. Like, yeah, anyways, it was a fun experience. You learn a lot about you know, just film, just making it work, and you know, learning from your mistakes, I guess, you know, getting more competent with it and getting more confident just by doing it, right? So it's been a great experience, and we're looking forward to just keeping at it this year. And yeah, that's about it for that.
Hey, well, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But the last question I'm going to ask you is, I took it from the factor. So, going on the record, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest opinion? And after being a guest on my show, how do you feel now?
Honestly, my first reaction was I was kind of excited. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, I have no idea who this is. I'm like, but this is something I'd want to like look into. And I was stoked. I go now just more recently when you approached me, because when we originally talked, it was I think back in February, and I didn't really give it much thought after that, because you're not the first person to actually have approached me that way for an interview and then it falls through. The one exception was I was approached for one interview. You're actually probably about the third or fourth, and only the second to pull through on it. The other one was for a newspaper. It's actually an Italian newspaper here in Toronto, Il Corriere. They approached me to do an interview, doing kind of what you're doing. It was a columnist. She wanted to interview an actor, and we did it. We met one day for a drink. She took the interview questions and she wrote a nice big article, and you know, it was great. So I've had a positive experience with these kind of things. Nothing really has to come of it. I'm just I said it to a friend of mine when I told her what I was doing. We were speaking just before the interview, her and I, and she'd gone to look you up too. She's like, "Oh my gosh!" She's like, "This is so sweet." She's like, "You know, she's the one who explained to me how you sort of, like, very briefly, a quote about how you choose your guests." And I was like, when I learned that, I said to her, I'm like, I'm actually flattered. I'm like, there's so many people on the internet, like, to actually be one of those like select few. Either 325 or 425, that's a nice percentile to be in, I thought, and I feel good having done this. This is great. And what I said to my friend is that nothing has to come from it. There could be, I mean, the worst case is like nothing comes from it. There's no harm going to come from doing this. there could be no benefit, but there could be no harm. And I'm like, either way, what have I got to lose, right? And if it helps you out at all, filling out content for your show, I'm like, I have no objections to doing this whatsoever. So I felt good about it in the beginning, and I even feel better about it now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like you said, you're supporting a good cause, and you're making a new friend out of it.
Yeah, and I love making new friends, so.
Now stay tuned, we're wrapping up our interview segment, but I do have a couple questions off the air. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2.
What?